Welcome. Let's make sure everything is working. Can everybody hear me okay? Is everything flawlessly designed on the always incredibly working Outkick the Show machine? Everybody here, everybody rolling in. Let's go ahead and allow everybody to come in. Make sure that you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me on Facebook. Everything good? Audio good? Aloha bitches indeed. Welcome to Monday. And let's go ahead and dive into the show. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome into Outkick the Show, presented by my friends at Oddshark. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. Go to Oddshark for all of your gambling and informational needs. And you can also go to Outkick the Coverage for all of your gambling and informational needs, because I was on fire since Thursday. I got out to Vegas on Wednesday, and I was dunking on everybody. Free picks galore. I went 33, 16, and 1. Probably the best betting record of anybody in the entire country. Certainly the best betting record of anybody in the entire country that gave you all free picks. I hope you guys are rich. We have more Aloha Bitches t-shirts. We have more Outkick DVAP shirts, everything else rolling in. Go to OutkickGear.com and thank me for making all of you rich. Incredible weekend of basketball. Again, 67% winning percentage for your boy. I appreciate all of you, and hopefully you appreciate me for giving you money. I'm just handing it to you. I'm just saying, take this money and be richer. Let's talk about all the games. First of all, I don't know how many South Carolina Gamecock fans we have watching right now. Everybody roll in. If you're a South Carolina Gamecock fan, say Cox. I am impressed right now by you guys. I knew it was going to be an amazing home court advantage with you being the 7 seed and Duke as the 2 seed. Fantastic environment in Greenville, South Carolina. I love Greenville, South Carolina. Great town. I knew it was going to be a fabulous environment for South Carolina. The SEC Basketball Conference has risen back from the dead. It's all about coaching. There's a lot of quality coaches in this conference right now, and Frank Martin is one of them. Hard not to root for that guy. Once worked as a bouncer, got shot at. I tweeted out the link of all the different jobs that he had in a New York Times profile. It was a fantastic game, huge win for South Carolina, and just in general, a fantastic environment. Also, loved several other games. I am in love with Lonzo Ball. I think that he is the best pure point guard as a freshman that I might have ever seen in my life. And I'm not just talking about speed. Obviously, John Wall had the ability to go from 0 to 60 faster than anybody else I've seen in a long time. De'Aaron Fox had that dunk that he had late in the game against Wichita State, where he just exploded and got to the rim. Explosiveness is one thing. It matters at the point guard position. But what matters even more than explosiveness is being able to dictate the pace of play to your opponent. And for a true freshman, I know LeVar Ball, his dad, might be insane with everything that he's saying, but I believe that Lonzo Ball is the best true freshman point guard that I've ever seen. Now, Magic Johnson was before my time, so I never got to watch him play as a true freshman at Michigan State, all those things. I think that Lonzo Ball should be the overall number 1 draft pick. He's going to be good for the next 15 years in the NBA. He is the real deal. He's going to eventually develop a decent shot, but already he can do things and see the court and make passes that I'm not sure anybody else can make. He's just that good. And it's an extraordinary thing to get to watch him. I'm ecstatic to get to see this Friday night game between Kentucky and UCLA, between De'Aaron Fox and between Lonzo Ball. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to watch. Lonzo Ball is not too small. He's not too small at all. He reminds me a lot of Steve Nash and his ability to control pacing. This morning on Outkick the Coverage, my morning radio show from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox. You can go listen 250 affiliate stations nationwide, channel 83 on Sirius XM. I compared him to Zinedine Zidane. And I know sometimes it's difficult to cross-sport comparisons, but if you watch Zinedine Zidane when he played for France in soccer, he had the ability to control the ball unlike anybody I've ever seen before. He controlled the pace of the game all around him with his expert precision when it came to passing. That's what I feel like when I watch Lonzo Ball and this UCLA offense that just tore apart Cincinnati in the second half of that game. I stayed up late. I watched all of those, all the games. Again, 33 16-1. I gave you 50 picks, and we won 67% of them. I'll give you all my picks at noon, motherfuckers. And a little nod towards football season. I will give you all of my picks at noon, motherfuckers, on Wednesday for the Sweet 16 as we go with those 8 basketball games on Thursday and Friday. So, NCAA tournament, the ACC is dead. Got wrecked in almost all of its games. If Mike Anderson and Arkansas could run any semblance of offense in the final 3 minutes of that game, the ACC would have all been eliminated before the Sweet 16. The Pac-12 sends 3, the SEC sends 3, and the Big Ten sends 3, all to the Sweet 16. The ACC has 1 team, the erstwhile best conference in all of college basketball. Not that great when it actually came to tournament time. Any questions? Any questions about the NCAA tournament that you guys want me to answer? 3 in the Big 12 as well. All right, 3 in the Big 12. The world is not flat, despite what Shaq said. And yes, I think that let's dive into point 2 here. Have you guys seen this story where Spike Lee and his opinion on the fact that Colin Kaepernick not being signed is getting a ton of attention? Have you guys seen this story? I saw it and I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe that everybody was treating Spike Lee's opinion about Colin Kaepernick as if it was a major issue, as if he was somehow a great NFL GM. ESPN has been covering it as a real story. They tweeted out from their SportsCenter account, and I'm not just giving ESPN a pass. I think lots of sports media have treated it as a legitimate story. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Well, let's listen to me closely. I wrote a column. I would encourage you guys to go read it. Tens of thousands of you already have. The reason why Colin Kaepernick is not employed is not because of his protest, okay? And it's not because he's black, all right? And that's what so many people at MSESPN and the left wing in sports media want to believe. They want to believe that Colin Kaepernick is not employed because he's black and also because of his protest. Neither one of those things are true. If Aaron Rodgers took a knee to protest anything, gay marriage, Second Amendment gun rights, oppression of black people, the fact that that America the Beautiful is not the national anthem instead of the fact that he didn't believe that England deserved a monarchy, anything, he would still be signed by 32 teams if he were a free agent. And the reason why he would still be signed by 32 teams if he were a free agent is because he's the best at what he does. The same thing is true of Matt Ryan. The same thing is true of Russell Wilson. The same thing is true of Tom Brady. The same thing is true of Drew Brees. The point on this is simple, and I think this is a really important lesson for a lot of you college kids out there watching it and for anybody else who's employed in the world at large. So long as your talent exceeds your problems, you will always be employed in this world, okay? So long as your talent exceeds your problems. That's true everywhere. I told this story before, but I'll tell it to you again. A buddy of mine worked in a law firm. One of his managing partners got caught banging the secretary on the conference room table. The managing partner got a slap on the wrist, kept his job, had zero repercussions from deciding to bang a secretary on the conference room table. If any young lawyer had decided to bang a secretary on the conference room table, he would immediately be fired. If any secretary decided to get banged on the conference room table, she would probably get fired too. But if you make enough money for a business, you can get away with virtually anything. You all know this is true. If you sell the most insurance, you can be a lot more in the bad behavior business than the person who sells the least. If you are a stud at what you do, then the standards that govern your conduct are different than the standards that govern someone who's average or below average at their job. This year, Colin Kaepernick was below average at his job. He was the 30th ranked quarterback in the NFL. He was down there with Brock Osweiler, with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Those guys don't have a lot of job offers either because they're not very good. If Colin Kaepernick had taken a knee and he had been a top 5 quarterback, then the knee wouldn't have been an issue. If Marcus Mariota took a knee right now, I would defend him to the end of the earth. You know why? Because he's really good at being quarterback. Now, I wouldn't defend his protest, but I would defend his right to protest just as I did Colin Kaepernick's. I might still ridicule him, but I wouldn't care because he would make the team more likely to win a Super Bowl than the guy that he could be replaced by. The truth of the matter is this: nobody else who had a protest like Colin Kaepernick has had trouble getting signed. It's because they didn't make themselves the story and then suck at their profession. Think about this from a pure business perspective. There are 32 NFL franchises. Colin Kaepernick protested in states. 19 of those states went to Donald Trump, okay? There were only 13 NFL franchises where the state voted for Hillary Clinton. 3 of those are in California. Obviously, the 49ers, who he already played for, and probably the most liberal city in America. The San Diego Chargers and the LA Rams. The Seattle Seahawks, they don't need a quarterback. The Denver Broncos, they don't need a quarterback who's not any better than the ones that they have right now. The New England Patriots don't need a quarterback. They got Brady and Garoppolo. The Jets are awful, probably don't want the attention that comes with Colin Kaepernick. They want to get into the Sam Darnold sweepstakes if they're smart. The Giants have already got enough drama with Brandon Marshall and with ODB, and they're set with Eli Manning. The Minnesota Vikings have Sam Bradford and Teddy Bridgewater that they're still paying for. The Chicago Bears just signed Mike Glennon, who they think has a higher ceiling than Colin Kaepernick. Plus, they're probably going to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. I just ran through the Baltimore Ravens, got Joe Flacco. They don't need somebody. Kirk Cousins is making $24 million at the Washington Redskins, and they already cut RG3, who's probably every bit the equal, basically, of Colin Kaepernick. So what team that is in a state that was won by Hillary Clinton really needs a quarterback? I just ran through all 13 of them. The Buffalo Bills. Maybe the Bills could sign him, but Buffalo is actually a really conservative town that Donald Trump won in upstate New York. People don't realize how much of a conservative area upstate New York is. I use that as an example. If you are a CEO, which is an owner, is a CEO of a company, of a business, if you are going to bring in somebody who is going to create discord among your fan base, keep this in mind, and I keep preaching this, and I don't know why more people don't listen to me. Virtually every football stadium in America, the people who buy your tickets and are actually showing up as season ticket holders, they voted for Donald Trump, whether you like it or not. If you are sitting in a football stadium, NFL or college, chances are that football fans who are more conservative than the general public, that arena, that stadium, voted for Donald Trump for president. I told you this before. Donald Trump won the presidency because he flipped 77,000 voters. And he won the presidency because he won Pennsylvania, because he won Michigan, and because he won Wisconsin. He won those 3 states by a total of 77,000 votes. If any one of those states flips, he loses the election. If all 3 of those states flip, if some, whatever half of that is, 34,000 people, or whatever the math is, whatever half of 77,000 is, I'm never good at live math. If half those people change their vote, then Hillary Clinton is the president right now. I actually think that Colin Kaepernick's protest helped to get Donald Trump elected. So if you are a business person, let's take away everything else. Does it make sense? 37,500. Thank you. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to bring in somebody who is going to alienate your base? That is going to alienate half of your fan base and that a tiny percentage of your fan base is going to like, in order to sit on the bench and just draw attention to the fact that he's a backup quarterback? How many places want a backup quarterback who's a national story every single day? How many locker rooms want to have to answer questions about their backup quarterback? It's not racist. It's not anti-protesting. It's the fact that if you're going to open your mouth and protest at your place of work, you better be the best that you can possibly be. You better be so good that people are willing to overlook the fact that you're protesting a controversial issue. You better be so remarkable at quarterback that your talent outweighs your problems. That goes everywhere. If you're a stockbroker who's going to draw a ton of attention to yourself and smoke weed in your free time and get popped for cocaine possession, you better be bringing in a lot of money. If you own a hedge fund and you are not an incredible trader, then you better not be getting in trouble. This goes across the board. I say it all the time. I use Hollywood as an example. Do you know why Johnny Depp could get charged with domestic abuse and Disney, or not charged, but alleged to have committed domestic abuse, and Disney, one of the most child-friendly companies in America, keeps putting him in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? Do you know why? Because it's hard to replace Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. So his standard for what he can do is pretty substantial. Johnny Depp could cause a lot of ruckus and ridiculousness and maintain his job because he's Johnny Depp. The same is true of Robert Downey Jr. Go look back at all the ridiculousness that Robert Downey Jr. got into. And now he's Tony Stark. And do you know how much money he matters to the Iron Man franchise? He made over $50 million for one of those movies. Do you know why? Because it's hard to replace Robert Downey Jr. now as Tony Stark. Look at Charlie Sheen. He got paid off all the money that was owed him under his contract when the 2.5 Men debacle exploded. Because he's Charlie Sheen. And as soon as they replaced him, the ratings tanked on 2.5 Men when they brought in Ashton Kutcher. That's the reality. If you are irreplaceable, if your talent exceeds your problems, you'll always be employed. Give you another good example. Adrian Peterson's still unsigned. Nobody's running around asking why Adrian Peterson's not signed. The Minnesota Vikings stood behind Adrian Peterson when he was charged with child abuse. Do you know why? Because he could run for a lot of yards. As soon as Adrian Peterson became a free agent now, that his career is basically shot and he's 32 years old, the Minnesota Vikings are saying, you know what? Good riddance, Adrian. It's because his problems now exceed his talents. He's not worth it. Ray Rice is not employed right now, not because he knocked his fiance out on a video in the elevator of an Atlantic City casino. He's not employed because he knocked his fiance out on an elevator in an Atlantic City casino on video and only averaged 3.1 yards per carry the previous season. So a bunch of you tweeted, and this meme is out there, the longest carry of Ray Rice's career last year, longest carry of Ray Rice's final year at the Baltimore Ravens was when he drugged his wife out of the elevator, knocked out. He averaged 3.1 yards a carry. If he had averaged 5.1 yards a carry, he'd be in the NFL right now. Why did Greg Hardy get to play despite the fact that his fact pattern was worse than Ray Rice's? Because in theory, there are a lot less defensive ends that can get to quarterbacks than there are running backs. Now maybe we're going to see this with Joe Mixon. Maybe somebody's going to take a risk on him and draft him highly. I doubt it, because again, his problems are going to exceed his talents. I think there are a lot of teams out there that would be happy to sign Joe Mixon after the entire draft passes, because they can say he's a free agent, he deserves a second chance. I think there are a lot fewer teams that are going to say, you know what, I'm proud to address him, to draft him, and have us choose him when there are other people who are available out there. I think that's more of a challenge. So, I'm sick of all these people out there arguing, oh, Colin Kaepernick's not employed because he's black or because he protested. Oh, there's so much racism. Oh, there's so much anger towards a player who stood up for something that he believed in. Colin Kaepernick's not employed because he protested and because he's not good enough at his job. Again, if you're a great NFL quarterback, nobody would care. Nobody would care what you protested or what you stood for. The reality is, as long as your talent exceeds your problems, you're going to be 100% employed. All right, questions about Colin Kaepernick. Anybody out there want to fire back any questions about Colin Kaepernick? You should be an NFL agent, Clay. Pay cut. It's tough to be an NFL agent. I got a good gig here. I like my job. Greg Marshall's wife, I haven't paid that much attention to that story. Okay, let me go ahead and tell you guys about my friends at SeatGeek. SeatGeek is incredible. I was just on before I came here. You guys know that I'm getting into wrestling now because my 6-year-old boy and my 9-year-old boy love wrestling. In fact, right before I came upstairs, we had on, was it Monday Night Raw or whatever it is, Tuesday Night Raw, whatever night it is. And I was watching AJ Styles beat up Shane McMahon. And so my kids absolutely love wrestling now. And so I pulled up the SeatGeek app, and I was like, you know what? WrestleMania is in 2 weeks, basically. I think it's April 2nd. It's the Sunday between the Final Four games. And I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll take my son down to WrestleMania, but I'm wondering what the costs are for WrestleMania tickets. So I pulled the SeatGeek app up right on my phone. I looked at their seat value chart, the color that you see on the chart, to tell me how the values were. It's down in Orlando. It's in the Citrus Bowl, I believe. And I wanted to see what tickets were going to cost. And I also wanted to see, are the ticket prices going up or down? So I set a price alert on my SeatGeek app so I would know what WrestleMania tickets were going to cost, because I may decide at the last minute to hop a flight and take my 6-year-old down to watch WrestleMania, because it would probably be pretty awesome to see in person. And so I'm sitting there like looking at the price chart, and it occurred to me, you know what? I got to remind everybody, go download the SeatGeek app. Make sure that when you do, you go into the settings tab, click add a promo code, put in the promo code Outkick. It's the word for the show you're watching here. I'm Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show. And you'll get $20 off with your first purchase. But the amazing thing about the SeatGeek app is it shows you the value of your seat and also the quality of your view. When you've got a kid like I do, a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, you want to make sure that if you're going to go, you're going to have a really good view, because otherwise I'm going to sit on my couch come the Sunday of WrestleMania and I'm going to watch it all day while gorging on beer and pizza. But maybe we should go in person. Be a pretty cool father-son bonding experience. I've set the price alerts on SeatGeek. We'll see exactly what the prices end up being, and it's possible that we end up in WrestleMania this year. If not, I'm going to get tickets on SeatGeek next year for WrestleMania in New Orleans, which would be an incredible experience for sure. That, my friends, is how you can trust my friends at SeatGeek. All you have to do is go download their app, go to the settings tab, click add a promo code, and put in the promo code Outkick. You get $20 off with your first purchase. Okay, let's talk about this kid with the crocodile. If you haven't heard about this story, I guarantee you that we were the best there was in sports talk show morning radio this morning when we decided to bring up this story, which one of you sent to me. It's an amazing story. Anytime you get amazing stories, by the way, tweet them to me. I'm at Clay Travis. I love ridiculous stories. So this 18-year-old Australian kid was out drinking, and he met a 24-year-old British backpacker, cute blonde chick, who was over in Australia. And he decides that he is going to impress her by swimming across a crocodile-infested river. Now, this is the ultimate in hot girl privilege, right? This 18-year-old, poor bastard, is trying to think of ways that he can attract this girl's interest. And he decides, like millions, maybe even billions of men before him, the way to attract this girl's interest is by doing something irrationally stupid. I say this all the time, but it's 100% true. No girl has ever died, and her final words been, "Watch this." The number of men throughout history in other languages saying the same thing, "Watch this," and then trying to do something stupid in order to impress a girl, I guarantee you that it's in the hundreds of thousands, if not the millions, throughout human history that people have died trying to do something stupid to get a hot girl's attention. So this kid is drinking. He says he has about 10 drinks of wine, bottled wine down there. And so he says, you know what? Crocodiles never attack native Australians. They only attack backpackers. And so he decides, I'm going to go swim across this river at midnight and prove that a native Australian can get across the river. Everybody who's been drinking goes down to the river. This kid jumps into the river. It's about 25 feet across. Almost immediately once he jumps in, he's attacked by a crocodile. I swear to God this happened. He jumps in at night, almost immediately attacked by a crocodile. Now, the crocodile is all over him, and if you remember before, I have a solid theory for how to kill an alligator. Crocodile's a little bit tougher. Saltwater crocodile's even tougher. But what you do is you drag him up on land, and then you go elbow right on the head over and over again until you deaden the crocodile, right? Because you can hold his jaw down. Well, this kid goes eye gouge. Not a bad move. He goes eye gouge, gets a punch in on the nose. Amazingly, the crocodile lets him go. He climbs back up. He nearly loses his arm. There's blood and guts everywhere. He's in the hospital now. And I swear to God, we had this interview on the show today. If you haven't gone and downloaded the Outkick the Coverage podcast, you need to, because we played the local Australian news story. They asked him what he said to his critics who were questioning how he could make the decision that he made. And I swear to God, in an Australian accent, the dude says, "Haters gonna hate." You get attacked by a crocodile trying to swim across an Australian river to impress a hot, blonde, 24-year-old chick. And your response when you're asked what you have to say for yourself to all the people criticizing your decision. Haters gonna hate. We are efforting this guy, this 18-year-old Australian. We are efforting him to try to get him on Outkick the coverage at some point this week live on Fox Sports Radio. My fingers are crossed. I might be more excited to talk to him than Donald Trump. That is an amazing story. So today we took calls about the dumbest things you've ever done to try to impress a girl, and there were some great calls. I feel like there's so many other ones out there, but amazing story. The guy, whatever you got to do, men, I'm telling you right now, without the pursuit of women, and in particular without the pursuit of pussy, all of mankind would still be living in the caves. I'm not lying about this. Think about everything in your life. You're like, oh, I don't do anything to impress a girl. I don't think I probably would have done anything in my life if I didn't lead to me being able to get a hot chick. Go to law school, make good grades in school. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, this makes it more likely that I'm going to eventually get a hot chick. This is my pitch all the time to boys who aren't paying attention in school. I say it all the time. Boys do awful jobs in school now, right? Girls kick the crap out of boys in school. They get more advanced degrees. They graduate from college at higher levels. They make better grades. I say you got to sit down the boys and you got to say, listen, guys, if you want to get a hot wife, you better pay attention in school so you can go to a good college and get a good job. Because the number of guys who make good money and have ugly wives is basically zero. All right? Women want men to be successful. Even if women are going to law school or they're going to med school or they're going to advanced degrees, women now can't find men who are smart enough to date. This is 100% true. Women can't find, hot women are out there looking everywhere. All they're looking for is a guy who can use the correct form of "your" on Tinder. That's all they're looking for. Their standards are really low. Do you have hair? And can you use the correct form of "your"? If you have hair, you can use the correct form of "your", and you're over 6 foot tall, you're just banging chicks left and right now. And you're college educated, there's like a total not enough of you out there in the population right now. All you got to do, you want to dominate in America right now. This is how slanted things have become. The bar for male achievement has never been lower. All you have to do to dominate in America today is 1, graduate from college. 2, have hair. 3, be over 6 feet tall. And 4, be able to use the correct form of "your" on social media apps like Tinder. And you will be having more sex than you can possibly imagine. That's how desperate women are. Because there aren't very many men who fulfill all 4 of those criteria. It's uncanny. My God, if you can make them laugh or you make 6 figures, like you're just swimming in pussy. There's so many girls out there that want to date you because there's so many fuck-ups who are men. Every year there's more fuck-ups who are men. And I think one reason is because boys have to be grabbed by the scruff of their neck and given a reason to compete. You got to compete out there. And in this world of education today, where everybody wins, boys just kind of get lost in the shuffle. It's really true. We feminized education. And as a result, boys just don't compete. They don't do well. So we need to go find them. Okay. Additional questions, additional thoughts. Did you see Tiger Woods? Did you see Tiger Woods today on Good Morning America? He looked like he was 76 years old. I legitimately asked this question. I'm going to talk about it on the radio show tomorrow. If Tiger Woods had just come out and said, you know what? I really like banging people that I'm not married to. I wanted to be a good husband, but it turned out that I didn't have the discipline to not have sex with random Perkins waitresses. It turned out that when porn stars wanted to have sex with me, I had sex with them. I'm not a great husband, but I'm going to try to be a great father. If he had just said that and never changed anything else in his life, I think he would have broken Jack Nicklaus's record. Instead, he had that awkward public apology where he came out, he brought his mom in, he claimed that he had a sex addiction, and all this awkwardness. It looked like a hostage video. Tiger Woods is sitting there with all of his sponsors arrayed in front of him, and he's basically apologizing to everybody. He went to that sex addiction clinic, everything else. I'm telling you right now, if he had just come out and said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I'm sorry that I'm not going to be a good husband, but I'm not going to get married again. I've got a couple of kids. I'm going to be a great father to them. I apologize to my wife for not being a better husband. Now I'm going to go out and try to be the best at my profession. I think he'd be fine. I really think that's the beginning of when he fell off the wagon. I think psychologically he fell apart, and then his body fell apart in conjunction with his psychology. I think you can legitimately ask the question, has that guy been on PEDs? I don't think that's a ridiculous question when you look at him now. He looks like he's 76 years old. Somebody tweeted out a picture, I think it was Darren Ravel, of Tiger Woods at 21, 31, and 41. I'm 37, all right? I'm far from a physical specimen, although, I got some mileage on me, but these triceps don't lie, all right? I don't know if you saw me doing handstand push-ups, bench pressing 225. I'm the biggest beast there is for 37-year-old men with 3 kids who have websites and internet shows. I got to be honest with you. I look so much better for my age than Tiger Woods does, and I work all the time. I get up at 4 a.m. every morning. I don't sleep. I drink. I got lots of bad health habits. I got man boobs, but I look younger than Tiger Woods. I don't know what happened to Tiger Woods, but he has fallen completely apart. And that Good Morning America shoot, I didn't even know what to think. It was scary. And so I would love for Tiger Woods to come back, but I think it's kind of emblematic of the dangers of allowing social media criticism to govern your life. That guy basically lived as tons of other pro athletes have lived before. That is, he was married, but he had a lot of girls on the side. Michael Jordan did it. Lots of athletes have done it before. And the difference is he got busted. TMZ went all in on Tiger Woods and busted him on that night when Elon attacked him with the golf club. And ever since then, his life has spiraled out of control. And I wonder on some level whether if he had just taken ownership of the fact that he wasn't that good of a husband, and if he had just moved on and acknowledged all of his problems and said, now I'm divorced, I can go sleep with whoever I want, because once you're divorced, nobody cares, right? Derek Jeter banged everybody who's famous in America, but he was a single guy, and it was like, oh, he's awesome. The moment you get married and you try to bang somebody else and you get caught for it now, you're a total asshole. And so if Tiger Woods had just said, you know what, I apologize to my wife, I wasn't a very good husband, I'm going to try to be a good father, I'm going to focus now on golf and being a good father, then I think he would have had a totally normal end of his career instead of being washed up like he is now. I mean, his physical health has just gone, and he can't do anything. And I have to wonder, have we ever seen a golfer have physical health problems like Tiger Woods? I can't remember one. And I'm talking about physical health problems, not as if he suddenly had a bad, he suddenly had a bad car accident, or he had some crazy physical malady afflict him. I'm talking about a guy who was just out there, known for his health, renowned, and now he can't even barely walk, and he looks like he's 75 years old. I can't think of anybody who's fallen apart like this. Remember, I mean, who was it who almost won the British Open at 58? How old was and his name's immediately escaping me right now, but he had the tee shot on the 18th green to come down the fairway at the British Ocean. Tom Watson, right? Tom Watson had the shot at 18. He's like 58 years old, right? And Greg Norman has had a bunch of great rounds after 50. I believe Jack Nicklaus won the Masters at 46, which is 5 years older than Tiger Woods now. And these were all guys who trained in an era when there was no incredible body, training, right? You couldn't get your body into great shape. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And so it's worth thinking about what exactly happened there. But he looked rough. Okay. Questions. Spectacular Monday show. Again, I'm Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show. Go to Oddshark for all your gambling and informational related needs. Go download the SeatGeek app. Go to the settings tab. Click add a promo code. Put in the promo code Outkick. You get $20 off your purchase for tickets, for sports, concerts, whatever else. Okay. Additional questions. And then remember, I will be live as always 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I got to go coach Little League Baseball, 6-year-old baseball now. Pray for me. Does sitting NBA stars hurt their MVP? I think so. I'm going to go off on these sitting NBA stars tomorrow. I'm over it. I give props to James Harden for not taking days off. Michael Jordan didn't take days off. John Stockton, Karl Malone. I think it devalues the NBA product to a massive degree. My argument all along has been the reason why I don't pay attention to regular season NBA is because of crap like this, and then they go and sit out. I think it makes total sense. I don't think anybody's sitting out tonight, but over the weekend, Saturday, the Cavs all set out. Primetime game. And I thought it was absurd. Karl Malone has a great quote on players sitting. We'll have that tomorrow on Outkick the Coverage. We'll react to Kevin Durant complaining because he didn't get a press conference when he went back to Oklahoma City the first time. So many bitches in the NBA. so many little bitches in the NBA who are all millennial brats running around. Their feelings are hurt. It drives me insane. I love the NBA when the playoffs start, but all the little, they use the word posse to describe my friends. Oh, they didn't have a press conference for me when I came back. Dude, you chose to leave. If I chose to leave Fox tomorrow, do you think they would have a press conference for me the first time I came back to LA? You think they'd put me on television? They'd be like, oh, here's Clay Travis, here's our friend, everybody, he left us, but let's go talk to him. No. I mean, I think that's such a brat move by Durant. You chose to leave them. Why should they have to have a press conference for you when you come back? They didn't kick you to the curb. You chose it. No, Coach K's legacy's not affected. He's got 5 titles. He's one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach of all time. Early Masters thoughts? I haven't done my Masters gambling picks yet. Dude, I've been focused on trying to make everybody money on the NCAA tournament. 33-17-1, 33-16-1, 67% winning percentage. Hate to brag, but that's really impressive. I think Tiger's going to try to play Masters. I'm not sure. Arkansas game, Mike Anderson, absolutely zero idea what that team was doing in their final possessions there. Disgraceful performance there. It was a messy game. UNC should have blown them out earlier. I lost some money on that going with the second half line. But Mike Anderson's team was not well coached. You can see that they had no idea what to do in crunch time. All right. Love you guys. Appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. We'll be live tomorrow. Outkick the Coverage, my morning radio show, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, 250 stations nationwide. I am Clay Travis. You are listening to Outkick the Show. And you can share it and go find it on iTunes if you just caught the end of it. Again, SeatGeek and OddsShark, thank you for sponsoring this show. I'm out. Appreciate all the support. I am Clay Travis, and the lesson is always, DBAP, don't be a pussy.